Thank you for taking a moment to watch this video so we could share with you our thoughts, concerns, and plans for restarting our in-person community worship, educational, cultural, and social justice activities. Firstly, I want to thank you. Thank you for your patience and your trust in us. This time has been so challenging, and figuring out what to do, how to do it safely, has been a complicated endeavor.
Thank you, Rabbi. The conversations surrounding reopening require more inquiry than measuring physical plant size alone. We all know how spacious some of our spiritual and social gathering rooms can be. We've also needed to account for fluid movement in and out of these spaces, the health of our staff and security, the use of essential facilities like restrooms, and the distribution of materials like books, food, water, and any number of consumables and material objects that need to be handled throughout a spiritual, educational, and social gathering. As information about the disease has shifted, these conversations have also shifted and made navigating these murky waters quite a bit more difficult.
There are two simultaneous conversations which happen with every event, and in particular prayer. The first, obviously, is what do we need to do to gather in the most safe way that we can? And for that, we rely on the expert advice of our congregants to come up with guidelines for us. The second conversation then looks at those guidelines and asks, what is the quality of the experience for participants, both in person and virtually, given the constraints we have to put in place to gather safely? Will that service or program ultimately be more meaningful than the one conducted entirely virtually? For instance, would a service in which all people were masked, including the leaders, where they were socially distanced across a large room, where they couldn't sing or participate in honors, and they couldn't schmooze with their friends, they would have to be called in one by one and then sent out to their cars one by one. If that was in place, would that ultimately be a meaningful and uplifting experience for those involved? Is it worth the risk that we would take for those events? And then how would the setup affect the experience of those participating at home who couldn't be in person with us, if it's a hybrid experience? How do we effectively engage both groups at the same time? For each gathering we have planned, as well as our reoccurring programming, it's these questions that we first have to ask when determining how to proceed and how to design an experience.
All that being said, we've been dipping our toe in the water and embracing small in-person gatherings, some publicized while others not so much, in order to carefully observe and be afforded the ability to make in-flight adjustments, including canceling if we run into a problem. So far, these have been successful. Our youth education and engagement team, Jackie Nix and Sharon Grates, held a very meaningful family education program over Sukkot, while our clergy recently experimented with our first hybrid bat mitzvah Saturday morning service. Of course, many of us know about the success of the drive-in shofar service. These piloted experiences, if you will, have provided clarity and wisdom for us to grow upon. We are looking into real and sustainable possibilities for programming in the near future.
Even with these successes, please know that each experiment has been met with challenges. After every trial program, we take a deep dive into the experience, reviewing successes, growth areas and problems, sometimes serious problems that need to be addressed and carefully thought through. It is important to remember that even if a problem goes unnoticed by participants, that doesn't mean it wasn't serious. That just speaks to the efforts and effectiveness of our professional staff and their ability to manage difficult situations like the professionals that they are. As you can imagine, the variable that we can't control are the behaviors of others. Understandably, most people are feeling starved of human contact and, when the opportunity presents itself, feel compelled to bend the rules a little so that they can interact with folk that they've not seen for a little while. As you can well imagine, this is very difficult to control, as you need to have a balance between enforcing protocol and understanding where people are coming from, and enforcing said protocol in a loving way. Even though we understand the underlying motivations of people, nevertheless, we need to get to a place where all protocols are adhered to for the safety of all, and most importantly, that people are respectful of others and their space and their comfort zones. These unknowns weigh heavy on our minds. With the pandemic still infecting and taking lives, and a vaccine delivery date mostly unknown, we need to proceed with caution and be diligent about the precautions that we take to ensure that any gathering is conducted wisely and safely. We know that everybody wants this all to be over, but it's not, and therefore we cannot act like it is.
For the near future, we are planning some drive-in experiences for our Ahavat Achim family and community to enjoy. We are also taking the lessons learned from our in-person prayer services and expanding these offerings while also maintaining the high quality and interactive nature of the online experience we have developed over the last year. Our Youth and Family Education Engagement Department exploring how we might deliver holiday and weekly in-person learning while also offering an online platform for children and families that have immune-compromised situations at home, so they can continue to feel included and part of our community.
Our goal is to communicate with you through a video like this on a regular basis, about once every 4 to 6 weeks, to keep you abreast of developments, upcoming experiences, and changes to protocol as we feel our way through this very challenging time. We appreciate the outpouring of support and trust that you all have extended thus far. We do not take the kindness and backing lightly. Please feel free to reach out to any of your AA leadership team, be it our board, clergy, or staff, with your thoughts, questions, or concerns. Thank you for everything you do to support our Jewish home, and we look forward to greeting you in person in the very near future. Thank you.